Hey everybody, I'm Cinnamon Cooney, your Art Sherpa, and today I'm going to be showing you how you can paint that adorable bear with a floral crown. I'm going to be breaking this down step by step. I'm going to show you how to draw him, paint him, everything. But I want you to know, if you don't draw, you're not a fan of drawing, the traceable's on the website. It's free to download, and I have a video on how to transfer it on, even if you've never done that before. On the mic is my husband, John.
Hello.
He helps me bring these lessons to you guys for free all week when we do them. This is a live stream, so if you're seeing this during the live and you're in the chat, be sure and put your questions all in caps. Either the moderators or potentially even I will
answer.
Maybe answer them or shout them out during the show. Clearly. Live! Woo!
So you know what that was? That was something caught Cinnamon's eye out of a corner and
I
just her brain went,
I stun locked in a thought. I did. I stun locked in the middle of a thought. It's sadder than that. My own thoughts got my own brain and it went. And
so I'm here just to go, look, a train wreck we can all watch live.
Gonna teach art. Gonna teach art. Gonna teach art. No, I am gonna actually show you guys how to do this. And even if you're very new to art or very nervous about art, I want you to take a deep breath with me. Breathe it in, let it out. This is easier than you think. I'm gonna do a thing, you're gonna do a thing. I'm not gonna do a lot of things and expect you to follow along. So by going through this step by step, it really helps you take the project in little bites. And that's what makes eating a big meal easier, right? It's little bites. How do you eat a whale? One tiny bite at a time. Don't eat a whale. But you know what I'm saying. So that's how we're going to do that. Today's materials, let's go over it.
Okay, let's go back over here.
11 by 14 surface. You could do a bigger, smaller surface, but that's what I'm working on, and that's what the traceable size too. I have grabbed my materials as I understand them to be. I've got a number 4D brush and a number 8 round. This is Raphael d'Artagnan D brush. This is the number 8 Simply Simmons. I've got an 8D brush. I've got a number 4 sepia round. I've got an angle, and I've got a detail. Now, what you need to know about these, if you don't have these exact brushes, is you just need brushes like them. Now, it may be hard for you to find a D brush. This is a hog bristle brush that's both the shape of the letter D and a filbert. You can just use a filbert or a bright and a hog here. And if you don't want to use hog bristle, you would just use a very, very stiff synthetic. This is a synthetic round, pretty large, just to make painting easy. This is a pointed round to make details easy. This is an angle brush. You could use a bigger bright and a detail brush. So these are my exact brushes, but you can have slightly different brushes than mine and get a perfectly fine result. Most of you do. The paint I have is titanium white, burnt sienna, Mars black, cad red medium, phthalo blue, yellow ochre, quinacridone magenta or quinacridone fuchsia, depending on which tube you have, phthalo green, cad yellow medium, and I've got a couple 3mm Posca pens here. You can also use fluid acrylic paint and a detail brush to do this lining by hand. Sometimes it's just nice to also have the pens. The pens are not quite as opaque as this, and that's why I have both of them, not just one of them, is they're tuned in a little differently than each other. So those are the basic materials of today's class. I will put my paint aside for a second, and my brush is back in the little brush area so I know what I'm using and don't grab something else on you. I hope you guys are feeling good today. I'm going to probably keep out my brown and black initially.
Let me know when we're putting the first step up, and then we'll do it.
All right. So we can put the first step up, and we're going to just sketch in our bear. Now, I'm going to use a pencil. You can use the traceable. One of the reasons I'm okay using a pencil on this painting, whereas I'm not on many paintings, is even if the graphite kind of comes up in the paint, it will be very little of it. The lines will be where we need a deeper value, and the colors are so dark they're going to definitely color over this. If I was doing very transparent light pastel colors, I might not want to use a pencil at all. I may want to use a different thing like a yellow cerl paper. It really is about what you're doing. But first idea is to sketch out the basic shape of the bear, and I want to make sure that we right here about the middle have a little line and a little line. I like to make him somewhat symmetrical to the sides. So I kind of curve a line, and then I come up to the top here, and I know I want to leave some room for ears, so I'll curve this down. And it's sort of a squished oval is how I start him, really, honestly. I start him out as a very squished oval. He is a stylized, not photorealistic bear. He's a stylized bear. I think my mom had some very strong opinions on who the bear was. And I don't know that I do. But I'm trying to remember what those are. All right, so we're going to put a little circle right here. And I need to put another little circle right here, sort of evenly distributed across the head. We're going to sketch this in paint too, so you're really going to be able to see these lines well in a second. The reason I'm letting you see me sketch in here, normally I would pre-do that and then just line it in, but I want you to see how light I am on the surface. That's why John's not adjusting it hard for you to see these light lines. I want you to understand how, if you're going to use pencil, how light your lines need to be. Now I'm going to come here. But again, I'm going to do this in paint. Once these temporary sort of timid marks are in, then I will do that in paint. I'm going to bring his muzzle, I'm going to center the muzzle right here and bring it a little bit below the squished chin. Now I'm going to get out a T-square, and this is a fun trick. So if this little nose were to come up like this, right, we're going to kind of bring this up into a little point. It's sort of where it's curling in is where I might want the eyes. So all I have to do is take the T-square across here and I make a horizontal line. And if I want my eyes to be the same when I'm freehanding them, if I come up here and I make another little line, right, and then I come on either side of the muzzle from its outer edge, kind of sort of coming up, not too different from our lashes, right, or eyebrows, bringing that up there. That gives me some scale to know how big to make my eyes. That's how I get asked a lot, how do you get that second eye? This is how, when I'm sketching or working digitally, or if I am freehanding it even on paper, this is how I would get that. And this lets me start to kind of bring in his little bear eye. And whatever I do on this side is then much easier to side out on that side. So if you've just really been struggling with that second eye, making the two horizontal lines for the height of the eye and then the inside corner off the muzzle keeps them evenly spaced off this major facial structure, which is what eyes are. It's evenly spaced off their facial structures. It just keeps you more together on how you're doing those eyes. And then I'm going to come here and talk a little bit about his upside down pupil across the muzzle here. And come down the muzzle a little bit, right, for the nose. And a bear nose is sort of a rounded shape that comes to a point. I actually am really into this. I could do like so many personalities of these bears. It would be a problem for me, I can tell right now. If I were huffing my wares in the craft fair circuit, you know, out in shows and doing fairs and exhibitions for commercial success, I probably would do a bunch of these little bears. Because who wouldn't love them? Look at that. So we've got that sort of sketched in. You know, you don't want the pencil lines any darker than that. And that's where you want them. And then once you have that sketched in, I'm going to come in and I'm going to use a brush and sort of sketch out his lines, and we can put this all in the same step. It doesn't need to be a different step. This is just still the sketching in time.
Now this is we had a couple of good questions here.
Okay.
This is are we still on the first step here? Or we're
still on the first step.
So
I'm taking brown and black and mixing them together, and I'm going to come very loosely and kind of just, I mean, as loosely as I can, sort of sketch this little fellow out with the paint very lightly. See what I'm doing?
On a scale of 1 to 3, how difficult would this be?
I have him at a 2 hoot, especially if you use the traceable, because his techniques are easy. If you've never drawn and you're trying to draw, that could make him feel a lot like a 3 hoot. But if you're using the traceable, he should feel right in that 2 hoot range. Come down here. You see, this is very sketchy with these lines. I'm not trying to be.
Are you saying he's a sketchy bear?
He's a sketchy bear. Done a lot of little bears. My favorite one is the one swimming in. No, my favorite one is this one. I like this one today. He is super cute, and I do enjoy him.
It's today's bear.
Today's bear is the best bear, always. You know, and you can see I'm like, this is a big brush I'm sketching with, but I just need to know where these structures are, right? Things don't have to be perfect. I just have to know where basic things are.
Yesterbear was unbearable.
And right now, because sometimes I will hit digital designs or I will do stuff, I've been trying to share a lot more of my process on with you guys live. So you understand as we go forward and technology changes, like there's a human being here. You've met me.
Now, I am going to comment on you guys because you're going to notice here, her image is somewhat foreshortened because the image is on a tilt. So if you look at it from the side, it looks a little different proportions than it does from the top, and that's because...
but the top's actually very accurate to what it is.
Yeah.
Actually, looking down and looking up,
Good.
the way you
Good,
frame
good,
that,
good,
the
good.
top is not foreshortened. He's skished.
Oh, good. Okay, yeah,
that's him.
what I mean.
He's
That's
skished.
what I mean. He's skished. That's
He's
what I was trying to
skished,
say.
but he's not skished by the camera. He's skished by me, by my lines. This is a skished oval.
Okay.
And that gives him that wide bear head. If I round him, you start taking him more into cat when you start to angular his face. But when you do him like this,
I'm glad I asked that because I was super worried that I was.
If you look at the traceable, you'll see that that's just spot on for where we're going. Round ears are nice and important. I'm going to add some little centers. These are just things to let me know. Oh, like I've got some stuff here, and I will go ahead and define my little chinness here.
It's
on my oval.
A bear.
Yeah. The thing is just give yourself a moment. And if you've never drawn before, and this is hard, don't let that be the information you use to decide that you're not good at art. Drawing is a skill. Painting is a skill. Seeing value is a skill. Perspective is a skill. Painting techniques, brush strokes, using different mediums, everything is a skill. And a lot of what we refer to as talent, a lot of times when people say you have a lot of talent, what they really mean is you have a lot of skill. Talent is a weird other sort of element. And so a lot more people are capable of being artists than they think because what they're really talking about is you're skilled. You know, what you really mean is that you're just a skilled artist.
With a Z?
With a Z, if you'd like. I don't know if that's appropriate anymore, but with the Z.
Skills?
I don't know. I can't keep up.
I don't know.
That's what I have teenagers for.
I'm still Napoleon Dynamiting it.
Me too, man. I'm just like, I
have hot rod skills and fixing skills.
Yeah, I'm just never going to be out of that. All right. So we want this to be entirely dry.
Uh-oh.
Well, actually, we don't need to be. I don't think I'm going to drag any lines. I'm not going to drag any lines.
So we can go on to the second step?
Yeah, we're going to go second step. What do you guys think of this?
I'm barely with you.
Now, there's a link up there to a short. I have a new short today, and I think it's a great short. It's only 1 minute of your time where I'll show you how to make gray without the color black. It actually also teaches you how to make black without the color black. And that's a good thing to know because sometimes you will get someplace and not have a paint color. And knowing how to make a hue of it, right, or a chromatic version of it is very good. I'm going to take my angle brush here, listed in the description. It's 3/4, and I'm just going to paint in my whole background, kind of mostly black. It can have a little brown in it, but I think mostly black.
So while you're doing that, you're using the angle brush there?
Just using the angle brush. I'm going to paint this all in. Isn't it fun to not paint the whole surface black first today?
Is it necessary to have like the brush strokes, or is it like you have to get it thoroughly black, or is it just?
I'm going to get it thoroughly dark right now.
Thoroughly dark, okay.
Yeah.
So while you're doing that, I had a question for you.
I might have to do 2 coats.
Oh. Maybe I'll
just
have
to
2
give
questions.
it the depth or matness that I want. And I paint into my lines a little bit. I go in a little further than comfortable, just so that I have room to fuzz him up and have him be about the same. So you might see me kind of go in my line a little bit. I'm just giving room for the fur. Give room for the fur, man. He's a fuzzy, 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 fuzzy guy. He's a fuzzy guy, man.
So,
fuzzy.
Do you know how bears paint?
I do not know how bears paint. Tell me, sir, how do bears paint?
With their bare hands.
I like it. That's a good dad joke. Who provided that dad joke?
That was just it was just laying around.
It was just laying around. It was just gifted to you. When and where is the retreat, Karen? It is in Pennsylvania near the Poconos. Where is it? What exactly is it?
We're at the Shawnee Inn.
What we're talking about is there's
Delaware on the Water Gap.
Art retreat. Like this is my last time to see you
Delaware.
before the art retreat because I'm going to be driving up to Pennsylvania, and it's an all-inclusive, and I mean all-inclusive. Every meal, we pick you up from the airport. Every art material is included. You walk away with an incredible gift bag. Paint more paintings than you thought you could ever paint in a week. You're gonna be like, yeah, they didn't short me on the classes. No, siree, Bob. Like, I'm looking at my classes, and even I'm a little daunted. And you get myself and my mom, Ginger Cook, and we're both teaching, and you get 3 days of just solid painting and eating with us, eating and painting with us, just constantly in Pennsylvania. And I think there's one spot, maybe. I think there's a spot, maybe. But don't like hold me to it, because I haven't asked the team.
So you can come and learn to paint with Cinnamon.
Now, if you go to our event page and you see where it is, it's at the Shawnee Polk Resort and Golf Course. On the last day, we have a free meetup. So if you're like, I would love to do that retreat, but that's not in my 2023 budget with the inflation and everything, and I'm going to be like, dude, I get it. I don't know that we could hold the retreat in the same location again, because the cost now would be much higher.
Well, actually,
I get it.
We really have enjoyed doing this here for.
I love it. I love it. I just know that they have to,
We're gonna put another
everything
one on
has
the
gone
books.
up, so
Yeah.
I just don't know. That's what I'm saying.
We do have another one coming up on the books.
I'm gonna put out more black and do a second coat, John, and dry it. So if you can talk to everybody a little bit while I'm doing that, but it doesn't need to be new steps. Just a second coat of black.
I have some more questions for you when you get back. So.
Okay.
All right.
Get more questions for me when I get back.
Okay. So right. Yeah, our event is coming up right around the corner. I think it's next week. Man, things are flying. And we've already confirmed that we're going to be able to do it again next year. We haven't confirmed the prices, though, I think is the only reason why we haven't put the tickets up for sale on the website yet. But you can stay tuned. Maybe where you are a time traveler, you could have access to it. You must just go check the website and see where it's at, because anything could be happening. And while you're there, sign up, because you get a newsletter, you'll get stuff like that. What I mean is on our website we have all sorts of cool treasures. Like if you go to the calendar, it shows the events forwards and backwards in time, so you can find all of those things. And we'll come back and talk about that more later. But go to our website; it's cool.
Oh, I need to answer Kelly Cox's question about the certificates from the beginner course.
Oh, yes.
So what I'll do is I'll go check and release your certificate from the quiz on the beginner course. If you did the beginner course through the school, it's automatic through the school. It just isn't a digital certificate sent to you. If you did the course through the old links, which we're still kind of working on, as we're just been so crazy lately. So I apologize if there's any of this craziness. And you got it through the old links, then I'll release that too. But I don't know how you would have bought a certificate to be mailed to. But if you did, please write support@theartsherpa.com, because we'll figure out how to mail you one.
Yeah.
We're not officially selling them right now, the hand printed ones where I sign them. But if you somehow bought one, like maybe that page didn't get shut down by the web team or whatever, I don't know if there was something like that. We'll just fix it. Just know we'll always fix it for you guys, especially if you're completing whole courses. Like, just let us know. Email us at support@theartsherpa.com and just let us know what happened. And where we can, within reason, we will try to help. Maybe even outside of reason, because we're very nice people.
Now, this is a second coat.
Second coat, and then dry again.
Now,
just another coat of black. I just want a very deep black background.
All right, so another question for you. Do you know where the bears learn to paint?
Where do bears learn to paint?
Cub Scouts. But the thing is, you could never get a bear to do a second coat, though.
I love bears, but all my bear stuff is dark bear stuff. It's like super dark, like bear facts and people that got mauled by bears, and Now, see, it's a whole problem for me.
Bears are by their nature very impatient. They would never do the second coat. They're about the bare minimum.
You're such a goof. All right, so that was a bit, fussy of a double black coat, but you can see it's much darker, and when I dry that now, it'll give me a lot of depth to work from, and I'll be glad I have that.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, so, right. Website, all sorts of other cool stuff. What else is on the website? We have a school, which is out there. The school is pretty cool. What else do we have? My sound may be a little low, so my sound better there? Maybe any better? Whoop, sound. Okay, so yes, on our website there is cool stuff. I just can't think what to say now because my mic broke and I have to hold it with my little hand. So look at that. Make mic sounds. Anyway, on the website we have a school, which is pretty cool. And really what that's for, so you know, is if you need more structured learning support. Like if you need each of the steps broken down, if you need the lesson broken down into steps that allow you to track your progress and keep, sort of show you where you're at along the way, the school's a good way of doing that, especially if you're jumping between a lot of different projects. Acrylic April is really a good course to use using the school, things like that. So that's a lot of reason why we built that, and it works pretty good for that. So if you need a different kind of learning, the school, I was just kind of explaining the reason why we put it up there, so that if you needed more support in your learning process.
Well, and also it's just easier to locate everything. One of the best, YouTube's amazing for being free, but as you guys know, I have thousands of lessons, or maybe you didn't know, I have in the many, many thousands of lessons. It can be hard to find everything I have. YouTube isn't really surfacing everything to you guys. And even on search, if you were to search exactly, I search myself. I go, the Art Sherpa lips. I can't tell you how many other instructors' lips it gives me. And I'm like, I'm me searching for myself. You don't need to show me everybody else. I'm me looking for me. And I will have to search pages back sometimes to find my own lesson under my own keywords. Try not to take it personally, but I kind of am now. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Like, come on, YouTube. I'm looking for me under me, and you're trying to get me to go anywhere else. I'm trying not to feel bad about that, right? So, the thing is like, I'm going to tell you the colors I put out once I get them out.
And then we'll do the step.
Yeah, and then we'll do the step. So it can be a little bit frustrating. I won't lie to you guys, to locate stuff, and the school allows big programs of many classes that are connected to be kind of together in an area that makes them more findable. And that can just be an important thing to have access to. All of the links. I'll put my little yellow ochre over here. I love my yellow ochre over there. It's good for the muzzle, that yellow ochre. It's good muzzle color. The muzzle color. Like the mother color, but not the mother color. All right. I'm going to put out a little bit of blue at this stage. I will need more blue later, but at this stage, I've got it for the blacks. And I need my yellow. And then I will be good for a minute. I don't know how long. This is not all the colors. All the colors are what we showed you at the beginning, but these are what we're on now.
Those are the colors.
So I have Cad Yellow Medium, Cad Red Medium, Bird Sienna, Mars Black, Yellow Ochre, or Yellow Oxide's totally fine. A little bit of Phthalo Blue in case for the nose, and Titanium White in the center. Can you take away my video screen for a second and eat a bite so I don't pass out?
I can't. I gotta go find the button. I have to go boop, boop, and I have to make you muted. And while I'm, she's being cute over there. She's like, I'm so hungry, I got to take a snack. So Cinnamon has not been snacking enough, so we're trying to make sure that our blood sugar doesn't crash out. So while we're doing that, I'm gonna cut over here to the other screen so you can kind of look around and have a little action at what's going on. And if you were to ask a bear what we just did, they would say we had to pause and reflect.
Had to pause. We had to pause, but let's not pause anymore. We must paint in the bear brown.
The button.
Let's paint the brown bear. All right. Do you have any questions for me? We're going to paint this whole bear brown. Try to leave your lines in some way if you can, and it is nice even on this particular layer to do directionality of the brush. So like on the shoulders, I will brush vertically and with a bit of a curve, even though I'm not putting in fur yet. See how we're doing?
Yeah, I do. All right. So if you felt drawing was a barrier to your...
Not an unusual thing, by the way. A lot of good artists don't draw. And the artists that argue with that, is gatekeeping art. They're
use,
so silly. You don't gatekeep art.
You use traceable for that?
Use the traceable for this. Yeah. If drawing him in is your frustration, look. Do I believe absolutely you can learn to draw? I do. I think you can, but it's like painting. It takes time. It takes practice. It takes dedication. It takes that awkward gross stare, like where the idea in your head and what comes out on your page does not look the same. What is going on? All that same growth is involved in drawing. So, like, do I believe in you? And I know you're capable? Yes, but it's not necessary. And one of the things when you paint a lot, especially with acrylics, is that because of the way that they layer, you very quickly realize that these lines are anchor lines, and I'm just leaving my little anchor lines here a bit. We're not going to paint his nose brown. Is not really even keeping that much visual information there. So you actually do end up drawing him in the end because you're going to paint over these lines. Right? And in the end, he's still going to be a bear with all the same structural confines of line. Even though you used a traceable. You're going to get all the same sort of learning. And as you go, you will get better at it. You'll be like, oh, I can handle this circle. Like, I think this is a circle and a circle. Like at some point, you'll be like, this fish is a little teardrop shape. And then you're going to be like, oh, I can do the teardrop. There'll be something that's going to be simple that you're going to be like, I can do the teardrop, or I can do this. And then through that process, break down the barrier to drawing. Don't let drawing be a barrier to you, man. Because it's not. It's okay. You can handle it. You're capable. You're a capable human being. But you will notice that I am thinking about the directionality of things when I'm sort of painting this in.
For the fur.
For the fur. Just thinking about it, because it'll layer up. It will layer up, layer up. Just working it in. I love the sound of the brush going. Psh, psh, psh.
It does do that.
Bree Snyder says, I found your channel a few days ago and I loved your colored hair and spiffy hats and headdresses. Why did you stop? So, I actually have an explanation for that. I probably should make a video about it, but I'm terrible about, doing that. Like, honestly, anyone here that's in the community will tell you, like, it's a learn on the fly kind of thing about, we will do an update about our moves soon, but, like, we're bad at updates. So, here's the thing. How many videos? Thousands and thousands and thousands.
Yes.
More than 10 years.
So many.
On YouTube. And I'm always changing. One of the things everyone here will tell you is like, it's a different color hair, it's a different hat, it's a different apron. I think hats and aprons may come back, but I may be booting up a new kind of show for that. And right now it's red just because I got really sick of doing fantasy dye at home. And I went to have, really honestly, it was supposed to be fire hair. It was supposed to look like fire. And the pictures and it didn't get me fire. It got me a balayage with red hair. And I'm okay with that. And then I was like, oh, I kind of like the balayage with red hair. And I'm going to yell at somebody. I'm not going to do that if I like it. So I didn't. And then you didn't mean to get this long of an answer, did you? But so that's really what happened with my hair. And now I'm kind of like, oh, I'm a natural redhead at where I was. Like at this stage of my life, I'm in my 50s. I'm not naturally any hair color right now, probably very gray. But you know what I'm saying? Like it's fun to have back. And I will probably go back to other things. But I'm very like, I like one thing and then I do another thing. And then, something else sort of catches my eye and then I'm on to that next thing. And that's really, look, I stopped painting. I monologue like a villain so much that I stopped painting. How to stop the Art Sherpa? Just ask her a question, and then she will.
But it's hard to be the same look for that long a time. Like you gotta mix it up.
I do. Well, I mean, I personally do. I'm gonna kind of redefine my little black lines here so I don't lose them because I know I'm gonna want them again in a minute. Let's call that a step, and then we'll do the muzzle because it's a different color.
No drying.
Nah. So I'm going to take a little titanium white and a smidge of black and a smidge of yellow ochre, and I'm going to make a parchment color. And I'm going to paint the muzzle a parchment color. So it's not white, but it's not brown either. And then when I come to the edge here, I'm going to flick up just sort of to start to blend this in. I'm not going to do any fur over my lines yet. I will hit that in a bit. I'm just wanting to cover things in just a certain amount of paint. And then I can always... And what's nice is you can see this sort of just really lets you flick up the little line. I like the little line. Isn't that nice? How you can sort of flick to start to imply that fur. That's super nice. This is a great one if you've got your grainer to use it with your grainer on if you want to have fun with your grainer. This is a very good one to do that with. How's everybody doing?
Good. Everyone is enjoying this.
Let's dry this now with our hair dryer.
Hair dryer.
Hair dryer. The hair dryer.
It works pretty good. So if you're hair drying, don't use the heats. The heats are the bad thing for paint and things that are made of polymers, which acrylic tends to be, hence its name. So just use regular temperature air and it will dry sufficient because it is just a air exchange text. You see it gets matte as it sort of dries, and that's that way you'll know. And just make sure you give it a little extra so that you don't get what's called skinning, and that's where the surface dries but it's wet underneath and then it slips off. It's a bummer when it happens. So yeah. I'm sure I was telling you about other things on our website. I think so. The school, you have to, if you go to the website, you have to click on the button that says school and then sign up for that separately. There's some free courses out there, and some of them are for charge, but all of those funds go to pay for our team who do more stuff in the school. So that's pretty cool. And then, oh, we're back. And now we do a step.
Oh, I have so many questions to answer. All right, so there's a question about the patronage. What does that mean? Karen was asking. I'm a patron. Thank you, Karen. And you're wondering, how is that different than school? Well, one is the patrons get they have hundreds of their own videos that's in a playlist. You get your own dashboard on our website. You have a special group on Facebook. You get updates from me, unique updates, and kind of like behind the scenes videos. You get lessons that are different. It's not the school, but you guys also get a lot of the acrylic April stuff early. So you get things early, you get extra stuff, you have extra full lessons. Like we usually do a big holiday painting every year. So there's just different stuff. The school is just a place where these big programs can live because they've got 30 videos or 40 videos, and it's just too much for people to try to find their way through. But they are all there in some way for free, where you can find each thing with the exception of the extra info, because we do try to give extra info in the school. What underpainting would I suggest for a white Labradoodle? I would look at your Labradoodle skin. Is your Labradoodle skin pink, brown, or gray under the fur? Because you can have a white dog and actually have different skin tones depending on, I don't know, it's a weird thing with animals with fur and their dominant gene, and they can be like a dominant kind of like one color but gray out, because there's another one that I haven't done biology in decades, right? So that is what that is. You really want to look at their fur, and sometimes it's nice to use a muted or grayed version of their skin color under the fur to build up. All right. Unless there's a tone in their fur that carries through, like there's a yellow tone or a brown tone or a pink tone or a gray tone through the fur, and then you use that as the underpainting. I'm going to get my big D brush, no, my little D brush first. My number 4D, which could be a filbert or it could be a bright. You just want a scriffy brush. I'm going to come in and get a little bit of my yellow and white together. And I'm going to flick all around the edge of this ear. The little light fur edge. See the little light fur edge? Now let's rinse that out. I think it's also fun to sometimes take a little bit of the cad red and the cad yellow for different oranges to work into your burnt sienna. Come do another little layer. And sometimes I find I have to re-round the ear. So if that's what happened, then I'll just come back and kind of layer those in so they're both equally round. But if anybody needs anything from the patrons to just any of our community, if you're going to retreat, if you write support at theartsherpa.com, that is the best way to get a hold of us. I'm going to put a little more burnt sienna in this mix. And then I'm going to do a little burnt sienna and Mars black for the center. And I may find I need to come back with a little more of my brown fur. Now, the great thing is you've got flowers in front of your ears. So your ears, by no means, I'm going to grab some just burnt sienna. Kind of come at the little edges there. See how we're doing? All right, now I'm going to take a little burnt sienna and brown, and I'm going to kind of, a little more brown than that, a little more burnt sienna than the black, but still dark. Come in and go around the eyes. You can see I'm just brushing down, and then I'll kind of curve that stroke. So I am thinking about fur directionality.
So if this were your first animal,
very first animal in the world,
would this be a good one to start with?
He's pretty good, but he has a lot of layers, and you would want to have heavy body paint and at least a scruffy brush for fur. So what I would say is if you've never, ever done an animal before, do you guys at home have a suggestion for an animal painting that was your favorite first? If you're here in the live chat or even here in the comments below, what was your favorite? I know everybody really likes the owls. I've got some cats and fish that people feel are really easy. And some dogs that people feel are really easy. I think he is a 2-hoot. So I think there's a good chance you could be really new. I'm going to add a little more dark in here and do quite well, especially once our extra special, unique to us, totally cool resources out, which is the sample chapter. Those are written instructions with step-by-step photos that match the video, that match the timestamps, that tell you each tool and give you extra tips and stuff. And sometimes if you're close but you're not quite there, that's the extra oomph you need to get through. All right, I'm going to come down here. I'm going to take another little bit of burnt sienna and Mars black. And I'm going to make a dark shadow sort of under the chin, scraping that out the direction of the fur. If you pick up too much black, just blend it in with a little more brown, you're okay. There's so much blending on the fur, you really don't have to worry about it. When you come to the edges, go ahead and let it flick out over the void. Now I might take this over here, my brown and my black, into my yellow ochre and make maybe just a little more black into it. I'm going to kind of create a shadow color. And you can see it's a little different than the taupey one that I had right here. And where the little top of the little burr, the little bear's muzzle is, I'm going to come between the lips and create a little bit of shading under that. And then I'm also going to get just maybe a little more gray into it. Come under here. And you can see flicking out, that makes a little bit of a furry soft line. See how that kind of implies the fur? And then right here in the center, I'm going to add another little shadow. Let's call that a step. And if you can take me off camera, I got to take a sip, babe.
Hold on just a second. I'll do that just a second. You boop, boop. There we go. So, yeah, just letting Cinnamon have a quick moment there to have a little drink of soda, or I don't know. I think she has some Arizona tea today. Oh, speaking of which, my coffee is upstairs waiting for me. I forgot about that all the time. And so we're gonna let her get a little snack there too, so she can nom nom a little snack. And she must. Oh, and while I was thinking about it, at the very end, we have pictures of some people who have sent in photos to support@theartsherpa.com, where we've been collecting those, and we're gonna show some of those up. How you doing over there? I'm ready to go again. You ready to go again? Let me see if I can get you boop, and then we go boop, and then we got to make a button for the next step, right?
Yep.
Step it!
Step it.
I'm going to go get some coffee. I'll be right back.
Okay. I am going to use my bigger D brush, which is my number 8, because I just want to not have to work so hard. And I'm going to get some, my pure brown, and I'm going to come around his face, going over the little chin with a little bit of my just burnt sienna. A little flicking so that some of his fur is definitely there. Coming down this way. And then I'm going to bring some just burnt sienna right now at this stage. It's just really just as not having to mix any colors or anything. I'm just getting the fur layers out. A lot of these are covered by flowers. So, and oh, guys, remember on the rating system of this, if you feel like I rated something too easy, you can go in and you can put in a student rating, and that shows for new painters as well on the website. I really want to thank everybody who decided to come today and who showed up and is doing the bear. I really, really like him. He's super cute. I like a super cute of woodland creatures. I have a lot of animals with flowers on their heads, like a lot. So if you're like, oh, I love animals with flowers on their head, you have come to the right place, because boy, what I have a lot of is animals with flowers on their head. So many. I'm just continuing to just, make this a richer area. One of the things that you'll learn is whether it's professional paint or economy paint or anything in between, some of the browns can be a little transparent. So if you just keep that in mind as you're going, you can make a point of doing a couple layers like we've done here. Yeah, we're doing good. Now I might come back into my brown block again, right? And get kind of still a deep, deep brown. And I might bring it a little further down through here with my bigger brush. And I'm just letting the brush strokes show now. There we go. You can come along the eyes and kind of like play with that definition there with a little black and brown. You can do that. You're doing good. You're doing super duper good. Just trying to get that worked out on him is really, at this stage, the big thing. Because once you have those first sort of layers in, when the fur really starts to fly, it just looks super duper good. All right, I'm going to rinse this out. I'm going to put out more paint. I see that the Celtic Peasant is here. It's so good to see you. And Donna Posca is here. He is shaking water off his fur. I love that. And somehow I missed all the steps. Oh no! So many steps. So many steps. No. They're just saying there were many steps. I'm ready for a new step though. Okay, step 7. Let's go ahead and work on the nose a little more. I'm going to come here and I will add a little more white to my mixture of just a little yellow ochre and a smidge of Mars Black. And then this was the burnt sienna, Mars Black, and yellow ochre mix with white added in. So that's how we were getting that. I'm going to come here and you can see like now I'm going to flick out over the muzzle a little bit to imply the fur. You can always go back into your shadow color in your muzzle and blend everything back in.
So do you have any tips when when you get there, I guess probably in the more appropriate places, when it comes to making
lighter color,
the bear look happy or sad? How do you keep him from having a grisly demeanor?
It will be in how open his eyes are, the fact that his pupils are large, and then I will imply a little bit of a smile in there. If there's too much of a frown or an inward sort of push here, then he'll look a little grumpy. It's what happens to my birds. That's why I always have grumpy looking birds. I can't do it either. I keep trying to make them happy birds, and then I just grump them up. It's a whole thing for me. So that's what we're going to really focus with him, is making sure his pupils are large and black and filling his eyes, and that the eyes are open and that the mouth and muzzle are smiling. And you can maybe I should do I could make a short where I do one of expressions. Just like a study that I did as an artist that helped me understand expressions and what we're making my faces look happy. But it's goofy. It's cartoony. It's a cartoony little exercise. But if you want it, I'll make a short for you, but you got to promise to watch it.
So I got a question about that. Could you make two bears that had expressions that were polar opposites?
Yeah.
All right.
But I did see what you did there, just if you were wondering, did I see it? Yeah, I saw it. I can keep going darker and darker, right? Like as we come here. Making sure that there's good shading in this area. I'm going to just come right back over into a little bit of the yellow and white. And finish that muzzle up. Maybe a little more yellow and white.
Now the brushstroke here is that's the directionality
is important. So like that I'm vertical or that I'm curving that out and allowing that brushstroke to flick out to the side to imply fur is very, very helpful to us feeling that, you know, this is fur. So like when I come here and if I go on the little toe of the brush and I flick out, and I make little flicked out fur, and it's going in a downward direction in the growth that's going. So what I try to think about is the direction that the fur is growing. I'm going to come here with my darker color and kind of blend that in at the bridge of the nose. If you've been contouring your nose lately, you're familiar with this one. It's the dish contour. You know, just bringing that down here, and then you can just add more white as you need to. I'm curling that in. And then down here, I might come in with a little bit of a white highlight to the outer lip. And we just want to make sure that we've got little... The muzzle can get a little bit fluffy. That's happened to me a few times doing this kind of guy, but I'm okay with that. I like a fluffy bear. Right? We all like a little bit of a fluffy bear. Don't you like a fluffy bear, sir?
I appreciate the bear.
Taking a little curve of a little of my yellow and brown that was right here. Maybe a little too much. I want it to be super light. Just brushing that around. And brushing a little light in. All right, so let's call that a step and dry it before we do what's next.
And dry first, all right.
Dry it first. It will help.
All right. So, let's see here. If we want to paint... Oh, okay. Vimka, I believe. So here's what I would say. If you want to do large drawings on a big surface, you can blow this up to scale it with your printer, and then you can go on larger surfaces. So that was Vimka was asking, how would you make this for a larger surface? How would you scale it up? And I was suggesting you just scale it up using a printer. That way you can take
I do get Bree's asking if I were to. I don't know how to answer the scale of printer one.
Oh,
yeah.
That's why I got it.
Thank you. But I do know how to answer this. If you're only able to buy 3 or 4 brushes, which do you recommend? You've got to have a good point. You got to find a brush with a good point. That's lines and everything. I think they're wonderful. I think it's nice to have you want a good filbert and a good bright. If you could only have 3, or good round, good filbert, good bright. I'm going to take my blue and black together and make kind of a steel gray, Payne's gray. It's a little bluer of a Payne's gray. It will read as a completely black, but when I go to put highlights in the nose, the blue will start to reveal, and it helps with the reflection feeling. So I'm going to just go back and paint in a nice, clean little, bear nose. Using the toe of the brush. This is a Sepia by Raphael. It comes in a set. I'm going to try to get it as an individual in my own brush line if I can. Or a brush very similar to it. All right, so here's where the smile happens. And that really helps him seem not mad.
That really does.
If he was a sad bear, it would just go straight down like that.
After we draw his nose in, we'll give them another step.
Okay, how come?
Because I'm not sure whether or not I got a step where our last step was, so I want to make sure that we don't go too far here.
Okay. All right, and then you can easily clean that up with your background fur color. Maybe one a little darker than that, but you know what I'm saying.
I do.
All right, let's call that a step.
All right.
But we'll want to move on before...
yeah, there you go.
All right, so you're going to get a little bit of your white. And I'm going to mix it into my gray. Come just right across the top of the nose, about a 1/4 inch wide. Then we're going to make a little bit of a gray line down the nose. And then we're going to make sure that we make our weird, funny little square nostrils. These are really funny, but they are what's there. And so it's what you gotta do if you're gonna paint a bear.
That's it. You gotta do that.
That's what you gotta do. And I can always come back and darken any of this that I need to. I can make these bigger. Bears are very sniffy creatures, so you want to make sure that their little snifter is painted well. Because they're sniffy. You can improve this line here. I'm going to come here and make a gray initially. And that gray is going to come around here over the eye. And then some of the pure black in the center. Sometimes I get the pupil too big, and I'll show you the trick I do to fix that so it doesn't look like a person eye. But I just need to get a certain amount of stuff in first, and then I'll come back and put the yellow reflection. So we're just getting that in there as far as we can. And then while it's having a bit of a dry, I'm going to grab some more white. I'm going to come to the nose, make a little wiggle right there at that corner, and one going down. Kind of a lighter gray highlight across that. And then just down the center, a little bit of a bright line. It's amazing how that nose comes in, isn't it?
Yeah.
Out here to the outer nostril. And then at the lower nostril. And it's just, that's all the reflections you need to really see your bear's eye. To do anything else to finish his eyes, it really needs to be dry. So let's dry that.
All right. Give it a thorough dry there. And Bree, we will answer your question about what a bright brush is. It's a really good question, and if you're new to painting, it comes up a lot because even in what a bright is, and I'll let Cinnamon answer that. Oops. So Cinnamon.
Yes, I need a new step.
Great question.
We're going to load up with white.
I keep dropping things.
Do you want to give me a new step?
There you go. Is the 9th step.
We're going to come here and we're going to add a little.
It's a trap. Admiral Akbar told us. So, what's a bright?
A bright is a shape of brush. It is square in nature. The difference between a bright and a flat, because they're both square, is the flat's longer from the metal part to the tip of the brush. A bright is short and square from the metal part to the tip of the brush. And generally the brush will tell you what it is. If you want to know more about stuff like that, I have a whole beginner course that tells you everything a beginner's got to know about everything. Just like take years off of your learning. Got to get that kind of going back there. Sometimes it's sort of challenging. Now I'm going to put my glasses on so I can actually see what I'm doing.
All right.
That's always very helpful for me. And I'm going to get a smaller brush so I have control over what I'm doing. I'm going to get it wet and load up a little bit of my black paint thinned with water. And sometimes I hold my breath.
We all hold our breath when we're watching.
Yeah, but remember, if you're holding your breath to keep a straight line, that's a trick that you can do, is to hold your breath to stay steady. That's why I'll get quiet, is that I'm holding my breath. But you have to remember to breathe. Like right now with my blood sugar being so crazy, if I were to like overly hold my breath, I could possibly get myself pretty dizzy, which I'm not going to do because that will very stress John out. And he is already as stressed as a poor baby needs to be.
It would be like, might get us really good ratings. Oh, there goes the Sherpa down. It would make like the most.
Yeah, and you know what? We think we're going to get
30
good ratings because we're attacked by a spider, but we don't get good ratings because we're attacked by a spider.
Yeah.
We're just attacked by a spider. Oh, darn it. I cut in there too closely, and so I'll have to put that back. That'll happen. Sometimes I'll cut in too closely with my detail, and then I got to come back and put that back in. I'm going to come in with a little bit of my brown and kind of black fur together, and I'm going to come around here and just sort of, if I over painted anything, little brown and black. Sometimes I will blend that stuff out, you know. Back with deep black. Point the trying to get the interiors rounded, which is a little more bare. And then on the inside, I'm going to take a little bit of yellow and an orange together. I'm a red and an orange, and I'll let a little burnt sienna get in it so it's not too bright, but it's still fairly bright. Just very light in the inside of that eye. So it's bright, but it's not too bright.
Everyone was saying they understand what it's like to have your blood sugar drop because you barely eat anything.
All right, now I'm going to take a little bit of my yellow and white. I'm going to come from this outside edge, and I'm going to add a little, if I can get it in here. May not be light enough. Try to get a little highlight kind of going in there of a light yellow. Now I'm going to grab a little white and gray, make a very light gray with my detail brush. Come right over my black line. Try to hit the same over here if I can. And I can always come back with black. Now, one of the things that you may not see me doing that you're having trouble with that I am quietly taking care of while we paint is I wipe my brush off with a towel every time I rinse it out. And that allows me to grab the hidden drop of water that is somewhere. I don't know where it is ever, but it is somewhere on my brush. I know that always for sure. So just trim this wherever you need to trim it. Smooth it wherever you need to smooth it. You're okay. Sometimes it takes me a couple little runs to just get it where I want it, and that's okay. Right, that is the issue when you're doing fine lines. I might add a little bit of orange here to this outside edge and maybe a little orange here.
That's the issue.
To the inside. Just a little bit of color, right, in his adorable, wonderful face. And then we're going to grab some just white paint. Dot here, dot there. I've got just white paint. Dot there, dot there. And then I think a little inner corner dot is always sort of nice. Yep. Now we have some nice eyes. If you have any little highlights you want to like dry brush on his nose at this stage, you could do that too. Not that important. It's just.
And the eyes have it.
And the eyes have it. So that's what we learn to do when we paint with me. Can teach us how to make drawings if we want to paint on a big surface, like for a 20 by 30 or 30 by 40. So Vanika Sharma, you're going to want to watch one of my very early acrylic Aprils because there's a process called gridding, and I teach people how to grid. And gridding is how you size up and size down on big canvases from a small drawing. It works every time. And there's a free gridding tool called Grid Tutor. So you could take a traceable, put it in there, have it blow up to the size that you want, and it will show you how many lines that you have to make to get the process in. Not that I won't show you. I totally will show you. I'm just saying that exists out there in the world right now. All right, back to the D brush. Next step.
Next step, let's see here. The 10th step.
We are going to take a little bit of our cad red and cad yellow, orange, and brown, making some light, bright colors. And I'm going to come at the cheeks and brush these in a curve. See how we're doing? Mm-hmm. And I have a curve going down. So that was burnt sienna, a little bit of cad red and cad yellow, biased a little more, I think, to the red. This is a very light. See, these are very dry brushing and very light.
I do.
I can come and get a little more brown in there if I need to. And I can pull this up over the ears too. Even though we've got flowers that'll be there, that's still a smart thing to do at this stage. And I'm going to make little short marks, dry brushing over my brown. Kind of mixing it up, making sure it will show up over. Just dry brushing that there. One of the things that I think is wonderful about painting wildlife, and what I love about the great Southwest artists, is how many colors they use to paint fur. How many colors are used to express these wonderful creatures. Mm-hmm. I can then come into some like yellow ochre and even grab a bit of white in it. And just on the toe of the brush, make little short curve marks. See how this just is? Let's bring some shape to that. And let's also add a few of these lighter marks around here. Just lightening it up. And again, I have realistic bears. If anybody's like, I need to paint a realistic bear, I got a few of those. I've got some cartoony bears. I've got panda bears. I've got a really easy panda bear on bamboo and with cherry blossoms that a lot of people got great results from. He's an oldie though, so you got to kind of search for him. Just kind of bring that back around. Maybe come in here, a little bit of this. Center. I like that very much. And then I'm going to come here and grab some brown. And finish the face. See how it's finishing? Mm-hmm. That layering is super important over the dark. You don't want to skip it. And I may come here and, oh, I got a little white in it, but it's okay. I'll just smudge it out and pick up some brown. That'll happen sometimes. See, I didn't let it stop me. I just was like, I just moved and was like, it's okay. I'll work around you.
Just ducking and weaving.
Little curve brush strokes, short and active. Maybe a little kind of gray right here. See how we made that little gray there? We got a little black and went over here, but my brush was still had all the brown, all the other colors on it. So that's what we mean when we say we've left a mother color on there. Is I haven't, you know, the colors that I've used through the whole painting were still on my brush when I went to pick up another color. Mm-hmm. I'm going to rinse out. And then I'm going to get a little bit of my white on this brush. Make some very short little kind of fur lines here. Maybe to that outer edge, just a little bit. See, this is dry brushing, and this is the less is more. Maybe a few. Maybe a little more yellow in that. You can even kind of blend back in there. It's okay to have a little blonde in your bear. They get a little sun bleached. A little bit of at the cheek there. Think of it as a highlighter. Soon as your bear is fuzzy the way you like him, look, the truth is that this could be a done bear. If you have a bear fan in your house, you could be finished with this bear at this stage. But I'm not finished with the bear at this stage. I'm very much wanting to put flowers on the bear. So I'm going to dry everything, and then I'm going to do flowers.
Okay. Flowers. I can't wait to get to the flowers. Have you painted a red panda? You know what? I want to say I'm sure we talked about the red pandas on the show because my son and I went to go see red pandas at the zoo in Houston when they were there. When they visited, we really loved to see the little duders cruising around. They were very playful, and we got lots of good pictures, and I enjoyed seeing them quite a bit. It was awesome, and so yeah, we there's a, let's see. Oh. Okay, you about ready?
I'm a blue paint. Yeah, I'm about ready. And I got to put out my quinacridone paint, so we'll go over the paint colors again, just so everybody's not lost on it. So appreciate y'all's patience. You guys are doing amazing. You're amazing.
You are.
All right.
Let me know when you're ready for your next step.
How does everybody feel about this bear? Is this a good thing? Should we do more of this thing?
I like the bear.
How do we like the bear? All right. Now, once I have him sort of dry and everything, then I can use a handy dandy Dritz Talk tool, which is just fancy chalk, you know, fancy thing. These are at Joann's for a reasonable price, but they can be a crazy price online. The Dritz one is the only one I know for sure does not have clay or wax in it. I'm going to bring a line there. This is just to tell me where to put some vines. When I do this, this gives me a hand to be like, oh, I know I've got to put some little vine lines here. I think I'll maybe even exaggerate it a little bit this way. An unusual number of lines. That just lets me know where to put leaves. I put out quinacridone magenta, phthalo green, blue shade, phthalo blue, yellow oxide or yellow ochre, whichever is fine. Burnt sienna, Mars black, burnt sienna, titanium white, cad red medium, cad yellow medium, and now that quinacridone magenta. And I am going to make big leaves, little leaves, all kinds of leaves all around.
And we just sketch that in so we can stay on the same step. Yeah.
Same step. All right, and so let's start with, I'm going to take a little bit of my green and my burnt sienna. I like them together when they get in with the yellow. It has a very kind of green gold feel that I like a lot. And I'm going to mix up that color, load it up on my sepia, my number 4 sepia. And I'm going to make a little tiny pulling mark. See, I'm making these little pull marks. Sometimes I do 2 to make bigger leaves. We're just making little leaves right here coming off. And then once that's in, I think I'm going to add some fluid white paint to my palette at this stage. Not for white lining, but to improve the flow of stems and things. This will actually help me a lot. Little white there. Kind of do that again, maybe these places so we can kind of see it. Back into the green, maybe a little more gold. Just painting little leaves in. I love using the brush to make leaves. And if this is a hard brush stroke for you, I have in my every brush stroke a beginner needs to know. I have this brush stroke as part of the lessons. So we're just doing these little green guys right here. And rinse that out. Now I'm going to come here and take a little bit of my pink. Definitely my pink and maybe some white. Maybe some more white. And load up my brush. Make little tapping marks coming back. I might get a little more white involved there. I know a lot will layer, so sometimes I'm not that concerned. Like I know I've got flowers here and they're going to layer, so I don't have to be that worried about it. I can drop some petals through this world. You can make dots, circles, lots of ways to make your mark. Might have gotten a little bigger on this one. That's okay. Every time I do these, sometimes new petals bloom, sometimes new flowers show up. I'm not a Xerox machine, and you don't need to be one either.
You know, this is it's unusual. One could say that you see a bear with such a headdress.
Well, I mean, he's a fashion-forward bear. He's like the Harry Styles bear, man. He's just doing his thing. Nobody throws no cans up on his stage, no siree Bob. He's just doing his fabulousness his way.
The original Harry Styles.
The original Harry Styles. I'm not even a fan. Oh my gosh. I mean, I did that one video with the watermelon sugar with the watermelon lips, and then I saw the footage of him like yeeting stuff people threw to him, like the guy obviously plays hacky sack, is all I'm saying.
Has skills.
He's like hacky sack, hacky sack.
So,
So I'm gonna keep going and grab some yellow and white.
In other bear fashion.
So we've mixed a little white into a yellow to improve its coverage.
You know what bears' favorite shoes are?
What are bears' favorite shoes?
Don't be silly. Bears go barefoot.
You know, man, I don't even try anymore to guess. Like, my kids are just like, oh, Mom. They're like, pretend not like that you could guess it. And I'm like, yeah, I could do that. Or I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. I think I want more yellow this time. like to be playful. I'll go ahead and pop some green up here. I think I could use some green. I just mixed yellow and green and went for it, right? I'm not stressed about it. I'm just can make them bigger. I know that there's flowers here going over them, so a lot of this just vanishes almost as soon as it's here, you know. Now I'm going to take a little bit of my blue and my white. A little more white. Ah, this time there's some blue in the pink. I just went there. It's just like I felt like it, and I just did it. You know, every time I go, I just kind of figure out what I want to do and just do it. Little white, little yellow, and I'll pop some green around, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like confetti. Sprinkle your petals like kindness, like confetti. Just put it everywhere. Just be great. Be kind.
Seems nice.
Not that hard. All right. That is all you have to do for the under floral. It is the under bear. Let's dry everything.
Okay.
For the under bear. I like the Harry Styles bit, though. That was funny.
So, just over here checking out what we got going on. The, Sorry, having a little technical thing on my other end here. Not sure what's going on, but, see if that works again. Okay, well, had a disk drive that was acting super weird. Not sure what was happening, so I had to... It was a good place to unplug it and plug it back in and hit record again, so it's now working. I don't know what was happening. It was acting funny. But that's the nature of a live show, is things go technically wonky in the middle of the show. And you have to be here to go, oh man, what am I supposed to do about that? Because I don't know what that button does. It just flashes. That's a new button. And then you look it up after the show and you figure it out. Okay, are you ready for your new step?
Yes.
All right, 12.
All right, I'm going to use my Posca pen. You could use your detail brush and your fluid white. You could also use chalk at this stage, but I'm going to sketch in some flowers where I want them. Going to go ahead and put in the center. Make 4 little spirals and then fill them in. Doesn't have to be perfect. You just want a flower over here. You know, I might put one here or here. I think I'll go here. Just drawing a little radial flower. So there's 2 there. I like that. Now I need a big one here. So I'll make about a dime size circle. And I'll make some big petals. Maybe got too big this time. It's okay. It will happen. Now I'm going to come over enough. I'll actually make a petal so I know how big I want everything to be. I'm just going to go in circles around this time. I'll be coming back with white liner at the end of this. This just helps me, you know, make some decisions about where and how do I want my flowers to be. This one might go over this one, and like I'm going to do the, I went around. See, so it's fun to be playful. Go ahead and feel like you can be playful. Feel like you can get away with it. I've got a little circle here. I'll make some little circle petals.
It's even encouraged.
It's even encouraged. These should be very light, not serious, playful flowers. Don't wear yourself out. Now sometimes I will put the lines behind a flower, and that sort of helps put one in front of the other. Kind of a pain when painting them in, but still okay. Another little flower. Remember, it's just paint, and you can line again over it. If you have lots of colors of Posca, you can just go
Oh, yeah.
completely crazy for it. Right? And that's really important to realize too. So you can have as much fun as you want painting these in. And the drawing them in sometimes helps you see where they're really going. So you know what you're covering up if you're covering something up. And I'm pretty happy with that. So I'll put that to the side for the moment. And I'm going to go ahead and grab a little white paint on my round brush. And I'm going to make sure that I paint in some white on some of the petals. And I'm going to do whites in the center of my flowers.
Okay.
Of the little flowers. But I don't have to worry about the big flowers. I'm only doing the whites so that when I come in and I put the yellows and pinks on, right, that it is bright. These are like anemones. Doesn't have to be totally a tidy like pre-paint either. You're just trying to make sure that your color will show.
Yeah.
So you can see I'm being like, about it and not stressed about it, and that's why. So if you're coming to the meetup, the meet and greet, I am so excited to see you. I'm so excited that Anne's coming. I hope you can make it. I really do. Would love to see you. If anyone who can make it to the free meetup, that would be fantastic. It was asked earlier if we were ever going to travel and do this like around, and the original plan had been to be doing some traveling in a different location, but definitely traveling, and we may still look at that as a possibility. Okay, I don't really need to dry anything because I'm going to be painting some other stuff for a while. I'm going to put out more fluid paint.
So we're going to go on to the next step?
Yeah, go ahead and go into the next step. I put out fluid paint, and I'm going to take my blue, dipped on the toe of my brush there, and I'm going to just go right into the white paint. You can see that happen? Now I'll come back and line again when I'm all done. So feel like you've got chances here, because you do. White and blue together. White and blue together. I think I'm going to actually put this little guy behind that first one. You can see I'm just pulling these back to make those little petals, right? Not particularly hard. If you turn the canvas while you do it, it makes it even easier. Back when I had everything on a Lazy Susan, this thing would have spun around, made everybody all sick to their stomach. And see, I'm just painting them in. Again, I may come back through with my white pen and white line after everything is done. Probably absolutely will. I did last time. Okay, now let's dry that and call it a step.
All right. So thank you guys for joining us. It's super, super nice to see everybody. It's really great. Love seeing everybody in chat. Loving being able to hang out there with you guys. Yeah, I'm just over here looking at. I see what's going on. Why I was kind of like, oh, I see what's happening. My little hard drive here is having a hard time keeping up with how much data it has to write. So it's over there kind of having a little moment, and I see what's happening now. So anyway, live things you learn as you're going. But look, Citiban's back.
I'm back
And
from
you ready
outer
for your
space.
next step?
Yep, next step. So I'm going to paint my yellow and pink, my orange and pink flowers now. I'll start with my yellow. And I'm going to just start painting in the petals. I think I want to make these just a little more big. And the ones that are maybe tucked in back, maybe we make a little bit of an orange. So I accidentally tuck some in back. And that will happen sometimes. I'll get making flowers. And then I'm going to come in with a little bit of my cad red. And while everything is still wet, I will kind of blend stroke that in so that I have yellow blending with red on the canvas, kind of making an orange. I'm going to load up some pure yellow and just come back from the center out. We'll let that have a little dry there. And we'll come and make another yellow one right there. Just getting that first run of color on. And the rest of them will do pink. You can do it differently. I don't mind if you have other flowers that you like doing better. Guess how offended I am? Not even a little bit. Not that nothing ever offends me. Of course it does. I'm a person. It's just that isn't one of the things. You know, we're all people. Like, stuff that annoys and offends my mom may not bug me, right? Like, because she's her own person. But stuff that, like, makes me crazy might not bother her at all. We all just people. Kind of blending that in. Little strokes going inward to the flower. And then coming back with another coat of yellow going from the center out. That was maybe a little too much center out. I'll have to repaint that. I went a little woo there. It's just about making sure that they have some dimensional color. And I can come back with some red and blend that very easily. These can be really kind of a hot mess. They can be. It's totally okay. All right, I'm going to take a little of my pink and my white. Just paint these. Pink. I don't need the center because I can put it back in with black pretty easily.
Right.
So I'm okay there. Just going around all of them, adding little flowers. This is little circles. I just make a little circle with my brush. I'm not stressed about it. Little circles with my brush. Making circles with my brush. Oh, I got to put that blue flower in I missed. And guess how hard that'll be? Not at all. Then I can always come through with just some dark pink. And just kind of edge the petals with dark pink. Very messy, playful, childlike, kind of fun stuff. It's the white pen that's going to bring it all together when it's all done. It's crazy how it works, but it does work. All right, I'm going to take a little bit of my white just here, just real quick. That was pretty fast.
That was very fast.
And I'm going to take a little bit of yellow and red kind of mixed together and come in the center of all these flowers. Of the little flowers.
There are no little flowers.
There are no little flowers. They're all big flowers.
Just tiny stems.
Just little stems. Okay. Let's dry everything and we're going to call this a step.
Okay. Dry it thoroughly. And look, nothing's working. I'm going to say that too soon. Everything seems to be working while we're doing this nicely. Happy that nothing is going wah at the moment, which is a good thing. So we will. What is it? Anything else that I need to tell you guys about? Store stuff. We are fixing some store shipping. We have been renegotiating our shipping contract rates, and the technical implementation of putting that in play has been more complicated than one would think. So we have some amazing tech people who are helping us out to make this happen. Many of them want to stay behind the scenes, so I'm just going to say thank you to all of the folks who are helping, and I will give you a new step now.
I'm going to mix burnt sienna and green together, and I'm going to grab a bunch of yellow. And we're going to make some nice big green leaves. Just a few of them. Where they will fit easily, I guess would be my advice. Because sometimes you're pretty crowded at this point of the painting. And I might like touch up some of my greenery a couple of places. All right, so I'm good there. I've got some nice big leaves. Oh, I want to thank Celtic Peasant for donating. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
And the Posca pen, I recommend if you're using white. I hate the fine. The fine just doesn't load out as pigmented as the 3mm. So I recommend the 3mm for the white. You can get away with the other colors in the 1mm, including the black, but the white just doesn't serve well out that way. I'm going to come here in the center and make some black centers. Just kind of swirling around a little black in the center. Little black in the center. You guys have this.
Yeah.
You guys have it. You totally do. Bad news, we got to dry it again though.
That's okay. We don't mind drying.
Anna's like, do you remember me telling you about the outhouse race?
yeah.
Yes, I remember that, Anna. I remember that so much. I am super excited about it. Let's dry this thoroughly so we don't clog up our pens.
All right. So we're getting closer and closer to the end. So just gotta bear with us and believe in your bear. Believe in the bear. It will bear. It will be there. I don't think it'll take very long to dry all the flowers, but you do want to make sure you dry them thoroughly between the layers. That way they don't pick up any any of the undercolors and show through. And that's pretty much the importance
There
of
we go,
that.
guys. All right, so I've got my pen out.
Ready for your next step?
I'm ready for my next step, and we're going to outline. Make sure it's loaded. Sometimes I over prime it just to make sure it's there. This is the 3mm. And I just line everything. This is a playful lining. I like to do dots in the center of these to kind of imply that they are more like anemones. So I double petaled this one, but I don't mind because I'll just come and do this, and that seems to work just fine for it.
Double pedals a advanced rally racing skill.
Is it?
Yes.
That's so funny.
Got to be able to heel toe like a pro. That way you can take the Dirt Queen.
And you can see what I mean about these days become more and more floral. Like you can even do something like to go into your leaves. Some of them you could do this, which I will do to all my big leaves now, just because, so they match out. But I'm just saying, like, you can create that definition just anywhere you need it. All right, by where I place these lines, that's the continuous line is the object that's the most in front. So that's another way that, even though this is very decorative, that we can sit there and be like, all right, how do I make this seem like, it does have placement of object, like objects exist and they're solid and they're full, and you're full. You got this, guys. You got this. I don't know how to explain it, but the white lining just pulls it all together. There we go. Just coming around. You guys are doing great. I can't wait to see everybody next week. That is going to be really cool. Seeing my mom paint with my mom is going to be really cool. And because I used a paint pen, I can sign it with a paint pen.
Oh, it's a paint pen sign. That looks so good.
So, yay!
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh, the race is tomorrow.
Oh.
Okay, so I want to thank everybody who's still coming. I really want to thank everyone who patrons us, who makes the time to come to a live show, who's still selecting us as your art teacher. I just want to thank everybody for that. I'm very lucky to be able to do what I do here and share what I love here. And I'm grateful for you guys. You have no idea. Do we have, in that gratitude, do we have some art to show of their art?
I'm getting it all.
John's going to get some art. Because we're grateful for the people that have hung with us, stuff online is going to get weirder. People are going to get weirder online. It's going to be stranger. There's going to be weirdly more competition. It's going to continue to be an odd space, I think.
Okay.
But I still think it's an amazing space to teach art. And so I'm going to continue to do that here, just teaching art, doing this, this way. And, being here for you guys, just day in, day out. I'm going to continue doing that.
Just about ready here. So I'm going to I'm going to turn that off. And we're going to turn this off in the background for a second. And then I will be right back. I'm going to switch out some little graphics over here for us. Get our first one ready for today. There we go. And listen to me. Push buttons. And is it? I think it's. I gotta go to. Is it?
I'm being so quiet.
You are quiet.
I am. I didn't know I had to fill. I had to fill while you were looking, and I just
you don't have to.
Flatlined.
Oh, I remember what I was doing. I was turning off the.
So I hope you guys are liking how your bears are coming out as you're painting along. I hope to see a bunch of bears. We've got the girl's face coming up the Tuesday after we're back, and then we're going to be getting back into it. Now, there will be shorts. I'll make a character expression. Like, I will make some expression shorts for you guys. You got to watch them though.
Okay.
You got to show up if you see a notification in your email. The number one thing you do for me, see a notification in your email, watch that short, watch that live. Like, throw it on the background, and then keep, especially in the shorts, keep watching. Oh, look how good. Wow, right. Who is this?
Okay, gotta go back over here. I'm juggling.
Oh, this is fantastic. Yeah. So this is a recent tutorial that we had, and I'm so glad somebody shared. You can share in group privately still on Facebook if you don't want to share online, but I like to make my the people who paint with me the stars. So
Linda, this is Linda's painting.
Hi, Linda. Good job.
Yeah.
That is great job.
Now I've got another one here. The next
I love it. And you caught the bottom of her foot perfectly. I think that confused a lot of people. They're like, is she in heels? No, she's walking barefoot. Crazier than heels, walking barefoot. But she's got, sturdy feet, and she can handle it. And you just did a beautiful job getting the underneath and the shading on the legs and the lining and the flow on that. You did so good.
Really, yeah.
Really, really good.
Now, here is the next one.
Definitely, Deborah. I'm thinking about you. Be healthy, be okay. Ooh! From the Ultimate Beginner Acrylic Painting Course, the first waterfall. I love this one.
This was from Teresa.
This is very good, Teresa. You're doing very good. You got your fan brush in hand. Now, fan brush in hand. Get a handle on your fan brush.
This is from Lynn.
Oh, Lynn. I love that some of you guys took the guy out of the storm. I know for some it just wasn't the right painting at the right time, or it just wasn't relatable about the guy, but, the storms that y'all have painted just by removing the guy have been just fantastic. And you're working your palette knife skills. Look at you go. Getting better at palette knife.
Now, this is the next one here. Let's do. Here we go. This is from Laura.
Oh, wonderful, Laura. That is fantastic. I love your dotting, and I love your little wiggles. You got really nice fan brush wiggles. That was really good. That's a hard one to get. You've got gradation, and that's not easy to do. Yeah. So good job there.
Can I say what made this one? What really made this was the brush stroke in the background, and it went from light to dark. That sort of radialness.
The gradation of that and the curve to it.
It made the depth of this one work for me. I really like that. Now,
good job.
This next one here. Let's see here.
I remember this one.
This is from Carla. Clara. 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 There we go. And this is one of my favorite ones that you've done.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite ones too.
I really, really like.
So this is an oldie goodie that you can find. I think I did her in stages. That's why we started doing the schools like for when there were big programs. I did a year called About Face, and we just painted faces for a year, once a week. And then, the Fire Fairy.
Another
Who
face.
did the Fire Fairy?
Eileen?
Oh, fantastic.
Eilina.
Great job.
I-L-E-N-A.
The work on the rough is terrific.
Yeah.
On the element around her neck. I've got to give you guys another one of her from this series on the watercolor pad. We'll do another acrylic on watercolor because that's always fun to do.
And this is the last one from Alexandria.
Alexandria, that's really good. I love your little orca splashing. Your orca splashing.
He's so splashing.
Thank you so much. Now remember, guys, when you're doing these paintings, if they're feeling more challenging, check to see if the sample chapter is down on the website. That will be under a mini book tab. But now we make actual books, so we had to call them sample chapters because the chapters go in the books. But that's what they are, is written out instructions, and they come out a little bit after the show, thanks to the team here. And so like this one, if I don't know how long, a couple weeks after, maybe 3 weeks, there will be a mini book. So sometimes if you get stuck on something, especially from 2020 on, maybe I think it's 2020 on, check to see if there was a mini book. If you're feeling frustrated, because a lot of the older, like not the really, really old ones, but the recent old ones have that as a resource. And I think it's a game changer. I think it's a total game changer. So definitely take advantage of that. I really appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for coming and taking part of this and for sharing your art. If you'd like to see your art on the show, you can be a patron, but you don't have to be a patron. What you would do is you would support a recent painting from one of my tutorials. It could be an older tutorial, like if you did, but it's one of my tutorials, to support at theartsherpa.com and let us know your name and a little bit, anything that we could maybe say, I don't know, at support at theartsherpa.com, and let us know it's for being on a show, and you might be featured on a live show.
Yeah.
A live show. But patrons, you guys get the extra videos and the behind the scenes, and that's your extra. And I'm so appreciate the support that you guys do. For that. I really appreciate that. How do we get artwork to you to show you on screen like we are seeing right now? Says Kelly, is super excited. Again, support at theartsherpa.com needs to be one of my tutorials. And you need to just be willing to share it on the show. And you send it there, support at theartsherpa.com, and our awesome team will grab it and make sure John knows. And the next live we have is the 22nd, I think.
I believe so. We have a little bit of a break.
But there'll be shorts, and please come and see them. First of all, if you see anyone like, why doesn't the Art Sherpa do long form videos anymore? And be like, I don't know where you've been, because she does them all the time. And then so the shorts are just extra. Those are on top of our regular live streams. And sometimes those are things we can give you when we're traveling or busy and we don't have like a lot of long form stuff for you guys. There can be really great there. And I'll give you guys some extra cool stuff. I've got a waterfall one coming up soon. And I released how to make black without the color black or gray without the color black today. That's a good one. So check those out. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. I want to see you at an easel really soon. Bye-bye.